This video is going to be about the things you do post-installation. So once you install and booted up your Linux, it just covers the basics of things you might need to configure afterwards for day-to-day usage. So here I am with a fresh Arch Linux installation with GNOME. Before we get started, there's just one thing I absolutely need to treat. So if we go into the settings application and then under appearance, I'm gonna switch it over to dark mode. That's a lot better. Okay, now we can get started. In the first video, I talked about package managers and I showed this thing, which you can use to install applications on top of your Linux installation. So this thing works across different Linux distributions and it installs something called flat packages. However, Arch Linux also got its own package manager built-in, the same for EndeavourOS. And I kind of like to install things through that instead of this, because the installation size is going to be smaller and it's going to integrate better with the desktop. You can of course install a graphical front end to it, so you have like a nice GUI interface, but I kind of prefer just doing it from the console or from the terminal. So if you hit the Windows button, should be the same on similar on both GNOME and KDE, and then search for console or terminal, I don't know. We should get an icon kind of like this. Already did some stuff, so let's clear that out. So the package manager in Arch is called Pacman, and you can install stuff just by typing -s, capital S, and then the package name. For instance, might want to install GIMP photo editing software, and we need sudo in front. I guess I should make it a bit bigger. Yeah, let's bump the size up quite a bit. Boom, boom, boom. Very cool. So basically, this way you can install stuff on Arch, and you can install a lot of stuff with just one command. If you want to update everything you have installed, you just do sudo pacman again, and then uppercase S, Y, and U. I can't remember what the Y stands for. The uppercase S stands for synchronization. It means that it will synchronize your local package database with the remote, with those on servers. So all the packages lives in something called repository, and this repository has mirrors around the globe, which is basically just clones of the packages on different computers, and it has a list of mirrors, and it picks one from that. For the most part, don't have to worry about that. It just works. So yeah, the sync will synchronize with the mirror, and then Y I can't remember, U is for update, and then you basically update your entire system this way. I would suggest you do that at least once a week or something. You probably don't want to let it sit for too long before updating, because it's a rolling release distribution, so a lot of changes can accumulate, and yeah, update your software often. Also, it's great for security. One thing I also mentioned in the first video is that there's this thing called Arch User Repository, where users of Arch can basically submit install scripts. And that's super helpful for a lot of things, because it vastly expands the amount of different packages you can install. So we will set that up as pretty much the first thing. So the GNOME has a built-in web browser just called Web. You also found it down here. I can't remember, there's probably also one for KDE. I don't remember what that's called. But anyway, we need a web browser, and then we head over to Arch site. I'm going to search for Arch AUR, and it should give me the instruction page. This link down here from the wiki. We click that, and it basically shows instructions on how to get started with Arch user repository. So we need to ensure we got base devil installed. All right. So we'll do that. Sudo pacman is base devil. So this is basically a bunch of packages, a bunch of stuff that's useful for building packages. It seems like we already had that, which is cool. All right. If you scroll down further, acquire build files, git clone, and then URL, and then yada yada yada. We can, where's it? cd into the folder we cloned, and then we can do a, yeah, we should probably check okay, we should probably take build contact, and then we can run make packets. All right, so let's try that. So yeah, sort of by default, you have to download the package first, then you have to build it, and then you need to install it. It would be kind of cool if you could just do it all in one command and have one command to manage all packages. And there's sort of an extension on pacman called yay. This thing here. Well. I find that to be pretty cool. First thing, I like typing yay more than I like typing pacman, so that's kind of neat. And then it can install both from the AUR and from the built-in Arch Linux repositories as well. Scroll down to the instructions here. We see, where's it? Here, install binary. So we git clone something, we cd into the folder, and then we make. All right. I kind of don't want to clutter my user directory, home directory, it's called on Linux. So I'm gonna make a new folder for it. And I'm just gonna call it source. mkdir is for making a folder, and source is the folder name. Then we can change directory to it. And I'm basically just copy paste the commands here. In general, you probably shouldn't copy random commands from the internet unless you kind of have an idea of what's going on. Okay, I don't have git installed. Cool, so we just use pacman to install git. And we can hit the same command again. Generally, you just shouldn't install run random commands from websites, because they could do malicious stuff and break your system and all sorts of nasty things. But yeah, I tried this before, so it kind of made sense. Anyway, next it tells us to change directory to the folder we just cloned, and then we are simply gonna do make pkj or pkg, and then for flags, SI. So S is for synchronization again. This is lowercases. So it basically is gonna automatically download all the dependencies that this package needs to install. And then I is for install. So we run those. Do you want to proceed with the installation? Yeah, sure. Okay, now we should have yay installed. We can try it out by typing yay, and then it basically operates with the same flag as pacman, so that makes the transition nice and easy. There's just less typing. So we can try the update command again. I see. And that works. Okay, so generally for pacman you need to put in sudo in front of everything. basically that's just asking to run as administrator, the sort of administrator on Linux or on Unix in general is called root instead. So it's the highest privileged user. And sudo just runs a command as that. And in general for pacman, you need to do that in front of everything. For yay, it will just ask whenever it requires it, and you'll be prompted to type in your password. So yeah, that's a bit easier also. With yay, we can search in our Arch user repository. We search both in base Arch repository and Arch user repository with the same command. The way you search for packages is with hyphen, capital S and lowercase s. So the capital S is for synchronization and lowercase s is for search. And we can try search for something. Let's try Steam for instance. Yes, you can install the Steam on Linux, and yeah, it almost works just as on Windows. Maybe I'll do a separate video on gaming on Linux later on. But yeah, so we get a bunch of output. There's something just called Steam here, so we could install that if we wanted with just yay, capital S and then Steam, and it will install that. I'm not gonna do that right now because this is not a gaming laptop. I should probably mention that you can cancel a command with Control C. That's what I did before. Okay, now that we got an easy way to install packages, we should probably figure out if all the hardware works in the computer. Sort of common pain point is usually gonna be Wi-Fi. If you have trouble with Wi-Fi, you can just connect it with a Ethernet cable and it should work without anything else. I can't really demonstrate how to get all possible hardware configurations to work, but I got an old Wi-Fi adapter that I know don't work out of the box, and I can show you what I do to make that work. So I'm gonna plug it into the computer. Okay, we can check out kernel messages with dmas, and we can see that it detected that we inputted something. Manufacturer is Realtek, and it doesn't give us too much other information. Never mind all this stuff here. Yeah. So this is graphic driver related. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a segment of that in one of the videos. I don't know yet. So anyway, let's get the Wi-Fi adapter working. There's this application called LSHV, which we can use to basically list all hardware information in a system. And it seems like I haven't installed it. Okay, so we'll just install it. LSHW, install that. And then we can run LSHW. And it lists all hardware, which is quite a lot. It tells us, might be inaccurate, we should run as super user. So we can do that by typing sudo in front. Super user basically means root, which is highest privileged user. And we got basically a listing of all hardware. Somewhere we can probably find network adapter. Okay, I found the listing for the Wi-Fi adapter. Let's see, do you have any information? So it says unclaimed. That means there's no driver to work specifically for this thing. And we don't have too much information to go by other than it's a Realtek. So I'm gonna look at the device to try to make out what model it is. And it says it's a USB AC 56. So let's try and search for that. What's called AC 56. The manufacturer is Asus, so let's do that. And yeah, let me show pictures. Yes, that looks like the device I do have. So we just search for that and then Linux. Yada yada. So it seems like some random, this is for Ubuntu, but anyway, that doesn't matter. So it seems like there might be a driver named RTL18812AU that works for it. All right, let's see if we can find something for that. So I'm gonna try and search the Arch user repository. We go to Arch homepage, there's a link to it. Let's make it a bit bigger so we can see. And then I'm gonna search for what I think the driver name is called. So it seems like we see popularity or votes. So it seems like this, a lot of people tried using this. So that's the one I'm gonna try. So basically we can copy the name, paste it in to a terminal, gonna type in yay and then capital S for install, and then paste in the name of the package. And it's gonna ask, do you want to clean boot? Yeah, clean build. I usually just press A for all to these. And then here we can actually see the package description. So it might be a good idea to read through what it's actually trying to install. So it's installing something from this GitHub repository. So basically you're trusting, whenever you install something from Arch user repository, you're kind of trusting the person that developed the package implicitly. And if it's using external sources, you're also trusting that that wouldn't do any harm to your computer. So we can try out and check out the repository. Linux driver, USB, chipset, blah blah blah. It got some decent amount of stars, so we know that other people definitely used it. Yeah, yada yada yada. It's probably gonna be good enough. Right, so I'll scroll down and then basically hit Y for install, and that should take me through the entire installation. Since I have built-in Wi-Fi in this machine, I'm not gonna go through it all here. I don't need to install this. I just use the built-in, so I'm gonna cancel this again. But this is just to walk you through what you might want to do if you have any unsupported hardware. I can't show for all possible hardware configurations, but yeah, at least to give you an idea. For some things, maybe you need to unplug and insert the device again, or you will reboot and then it should work after installing the driver. To be able to play videos, you might need to install Codecs. So video codecs have different licenses and not everything is freely available. Yada yada. I don't know, I'm pragmatic, so I'm just gonna don't care too much about license. So unknown. The video codec system is called GStreamer. It's probably also gonna be the same on KDE, I don't know. So we need to install some extra codecs. If I open up the ArchWiki page again and type in GStreamer, we should see a list of things. So basically all these packages down here I would install. So we can use a yay command for that. Yay, and then gst libav I kind of decided that I want to install everything with one command instead of individually, so we're just gonna do plugins bad gst plugins. Yeah, bad sounds bad, but this is basically just referring to the quality of the codec. I don't know, I never had any issues with anything, so I'm basically just gonna install everything. I just wanna make sure that stuff works. Do I want to install anything? Yes. And cool. Now you should be able to play just about any video format. I guess we can try it out with one of the videos I used to record. So if I open up with the video app, it seems like it's working. Okay, cool. I have a Bluetooth speaker that I use quite often, so let's see if we can get that working. You can sort of, normally you can find a bunch of settings for various stuff up here, and if I click Bluetooth, it seems like I can't find the Bluetooth adapter. Okay, let's see if we can fix that. Open up ArchWiki and then search for Bluetooth. Let's see, basically it says install the Blues package, and yeah, graphical front ends, we are GNOME, so GNOME Bluetooth 3.0 it seems like we might need to install afterwards. Yes, so if I bump up the terminal again, open my terminal, and then okay, let's just start with the GNOME Bluetooth and see. A cool thing, if you use capital Q and then Q for I guess query and I for information, then we can see additional information about packets. So if I type in the package name Bluetooth 3.0, we see a bunch of stuff here, and we can see on dependencies it depends on the Blues packets. So that's basically what it told me to install up here. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna install that and hopefully that will work. Okay, it seems like it was already installed. However, it doesn't quite work yet. It also says something about start enable Bluetooth service, so we can try that. To start services, we use something called systemd. And the command that we use to interact with it is called systemctl. We can enable a service by typing enable and then the name of the service. So services are pretty much just stuff that's running in background that you don't interact with directly, but other components on the systems might use. So if we enable Bluetooth service, it's gonna ask for a root password. This should be the same as your user password. So now it's enabled, meaning that it will automatically start when you start the computer, and we can start it manually too. Okay, let's see if that did anything. And still gotten, okay, we actually started to see devices. Okay, pretty cool. So I should be able to find my Bluetooth speaker now. So if I turn it on and put it into discovery mode, there's a new device. Okay, here it is. Be assigned something something. Let's try and connect it.
It seems like it connected. Let's check if it plays any sound. We go up to the settings thingy and then click sound settings. So basically here you can change the device that is gonna output to. You will also change input.
And we have this test button for sound. Okay, it gives some noise, so I guess that's okay. Maybe we should try it with a YouTube video. And we got a commercial playing, so yeah, it does output sound, so that's cool. And we got Bluetooth working. I also occasionally need to print something, so let's see if we can get that working. I've got a printer behind me, so it makes some noises. I don't know if that can be heard. Anyway, if we go to ArchWiki, how you print on Linux is with something called Codecs. So if we search for that, we get the description page for it. So basically, first thing you do is install Codecs, which sounds pretty simple. So let's go back to a terminal, and then we're gonna install Codecs. You can also install something called Codecs PDF that allows you to have sort of a PDF printer that is always going to be there, and you can print any kind of document to a PDF file. There's a bunch of optional dependencies you could install. My printer is connected with USB, so I'm not gonna do anything with that. Instead, if I go down to the USB section, let's also make sure you have USB utils package installed. Okay, let's check if we do have that. I'm basically just gonna search for it. What it is called? USB utils. And we don't have it, so I can install it. Alrighty. So there's something called Fumatic, and then Codecs filters, and non-PDF printers requires GhostScript. I don't know too much of the printer I have. It's fairly old, at least 10 years old. So yeah, we might need the GhostScript things too. Yes, so I think I'm gonna install the Fumatic or the Fumatic stuff and Codecs filters and hope that will work. Codecs filters, and then okay, that's installed. There's something called Gutenprint 2, and says provide drivers for Canon, Epson, blah blah blah. In fact, the printer I have here is a Canon, so let me install that as well. Gutenprint, Fumatic, DB, Gutenprint, PPDS. Yes, I hope that's it for the installation. Scroll up, see if there's anything I missed. We probably need to enable and start the Codecs service. So I'm gonna do that. System CTL enable Codecs, and then start it also. Okay, let me plug in the printer and see if it can find it. Then I'm gonna go to settings and printer. And let's try an printer. So it does find my printer here. And I guess if I add it, no, that didn't work. Okay, it might be a permission issue, so let's see if we can solve that. Go over to permissions here, and then let's see, there's something called cops pk helper. Policy kit is something for handling permissions. So if we install cops pk helper, hopefully we can make it work now. Plug in printer, and yeah, no, still failed. Okay, so there's another tool you can use. I think if we go under users and then somewhere here, so there's this thing called the system config printer, which is another interface you can use to configure printers, and we might need to use that instead, so I'm gonna install it. So should work with GNOME, built-in GNOME from the settings application, but if you have trouble you can try this system config printer application. We unlock it with root password, and then we can find the printer here, and just next, and it looks like it's working now. So you can try, if you have paper in your printer, to print a test page just to make sure. If you still have trouble getting your printer to work, you might need to install additional drivers from the AUR. So basically look up your printer model, go to AUR and search for what your printer is called, and that might help. If you are on a laptop, here are some things you can do to prolong the battery life. First, I'm gonna go to the ArchWiki page, somewhere here. There is a section called Power Modes, and it tells us to install Power Profile Daemon. So we will launch a terminal and do just that. Okay, it also says that no service needs to be enabled. It should work automatically. So I'm guessing I need to log out and log in again for it to take effect. So you can log out by clicking up here and then the power button and then log out. So after you're logged out and logged in back again, you should be able to see power mode here, and you can choose between performance and power saving or balanced. I normally just leave it at balanced. Another thing you could do to prolong your battery life is to install PowerTop. So PowerTop lets you toggle a bunch of power saving features on, off. So basically, if you shut down all the devices, if your computer shut down all the devices it isn't currently using, it prolongs the battery life significantly. So this PowerTop is fairly easy to use. We just need to install it. Then we can launch it. We need administrator, okay. So we get this terminal interface. If we tap a bunch of times, we get to an item called tunables. So basically, if you turn all these on, it can prolong your battery life quite a bit. If you look at the wiki, there are also instructions. So these settings basically go away when you reboot. So there's a way to have it automatically configure each time it starts up. You can also toggle them all on by using PowerTop Auto-Tune. Run like this. I think that's it. You should now have a Linux installation that you can use for most day-to-day use. In later videos, we'll go into some more advanced and more developer-oriented stuff.